Well, now it's time to with an non-stop day. It's safe to say we'll have some fun today on Geek World Radio.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Geek World Radio. I'm Gee Buttersnaps, this is Methuselah Honeysuckle, and today we're talking about one of our favorite TV shows.
Psych!
I think you mean Psych.
I've heard it both ways, anime. That's right, we're talking about our favorite comedy on TV, Psych, from USA. It's now going to be in its 7th season, and they've already confirmed it for the 8th season, and it starts tonight. So we decided, since we love this show so much, we'd spend the show talking about Psych.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Psych is basically about a guy who uses his awesome powers of observation and pretends to be a psychic and works with the Santa Barbara Police Department.
It's unbelievable. He and his buddy, they go and they solve crimes. Really, it's just an American version of Sherlock Holmes, where you get the one guy who basically, his whole thing is just being able to observe stuff, and then you got his sort of sidekick or his friend character who's a little more of a doctor and who kind of supports him in his crazy endeavors.
Mm-hmm. So one of the really interesting things about this show is the creator, Steve Franks, kind of did a little semi-autobiographical thing. His own father was a cop and kind of made him do these training exercises to learn to observe things, and that's where he got that part of the show. So season 7 is starting, so let's hear from some of the stars what we can expect to see.
Well, we went ahead and threw our hats into the found footage ring. That's an acknowledgement that it's prevalent in the zeitgeist, so we figured we'd get in on that.
Amazing guest stars. Jeffrey Tambor's playing my stepdad. Christy Swanson's coming back.
Romance is in the air.
I mean, just in like everyone's life. It's
Everyone's sort of taking their relationships to the next level.
Yeah.
Paid tribute to Clue, everybody's favorite board game from the 80s. It is. Doing a musical, because that seems to be a hip thing to do these days. But all our music's going to be original. From the mind of Steve Franks. That's what makes us cooler.
I think the Clue episode is going to be amazing. I mean, they were even talking about that back in 2011.
Yeah.
But it's going to be their 100th episode, and that's going to be awesome. Also, they are doing the musical episode, but it's not going to be this season. It's going to be in between the 7th and the 8th season, because USA decided it's so cool, they want to make it a 2-hour event.
Awesome!
Kind of great, yeah. One of the great things about this show is they do a lot of film homages. Last year, they did The Shining. They've done The Hangover, Police Academy, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Indiana Jones, The Bourne Identity. It goes on and on and on, anime.
And it allows them to bring in some great guest stars. Like the Dual Spires episode. They got to bring the cast of Twin Peaks back together.
And James Roday geeked out. Here's him talking about it.
Yeah, when we did our Twin Peaks homage, I geeked out on all of them. That was my favorite TV show of all time, and we had like 7 of them on set at the same time. I was in geek heaven. Yeah. They sort of were having their own reunion, and we were geeking out. It was a crazy episode.
Plus, we talked to Ray Wise, and we had to ask him about it.
Oh, it was wonderful. You know, I play Father Wesley on Psych, and I'm the boys' catechism teacher from when they were young, and so that was a great character to begin with, and then he brought Father Wesley back to participate in Dual Spires, which sort of reunited all of us from Twin Peaks. And it was just a joyous occasion. That's all I can say. We had a ball, and it was a smart, funny script, and the way they tied it into the original Twin Peaks series was pretty ingenious, I thought, and it was a great thing.
Along with Ray Wise, they've also had Carrie Elways, who is amazing. He plays this really super awesome cat burglar named Despero.
Yeah, it is one of the greatest recurring characters that they've had on the show.
William Shatner, Captain Kirk himself, was cast as Maggie Lawson's character's dad. And who is her brother, anime?
John Cena.
Oh yeah, whatever this means. He does it. Whatever this means. Anyway, on top of that, you know, they've had like Danny Glover, Malcolm McDowell. I mean, there's a ton of great character actors. It's awesome.
Yeah, practically the whole Breakfast Club.
Yes, exactly. They have a John Hughes thing. Ali Sheedy was amazing. wasn't she? Oh man, RoboCop himself, Peter Weller. What's really cool about Psych is, for me, it's the funniest show on TV, like we always mentioned. What's really cool about it is I can watch every rerun of it because it's irrelevant if I know what the mystery is, because it's not one of these stupid CBS shows where once you know what the mystery is, it doesn't matter anymore, because what's great about the show is the humor.
Yeah.
It is constantly funny. James Roday is one of the funniest freaking guys on TV. Steve Franks is a great writer. I mean, they have great writers. It's unreal. And so I can watch these over and over and over again just for the humor.
Actually, we should go to a little clip now. When we were talking to Kurt Fuller, who plays Woody the coroner, he talked about what an amazing comedic talent James Roday is. So let's check that out.
I did a series called That's My Bush that was Trey Parker and Matt Stone. It was a live-action sitcom about the Bush White House on Comedy Central. And Trey Parker, on his worst day, was, to me, the funniest person I have ever, and it just was blow my mind what will come out of his mouth offhand. And Roday is the same way. He just is so facile. He's so facile. And his talent is miles wide, but it's not inches deep. It's miles deep, too. And that's rare. Because usually if you get this, you get this.
And you can trust that guy because he's an angel.
Maggie Lawson and Tim Omundson also talked about how awesome it is when James Roday writes and directs.
James, because he knows us so well, it is always such a pleasure when he writes and directs, because he gives us just gems to mine.
I want to talk about some of our favorite episodes. And I think for both of us, maybe the number one is Lights, Camera, Homicido.
I love Chad.
It's unreal. Basically, Sean goes undercover in a telenovela in order to solve a crime, and it's one of the funniest episodes ever. And actually, we couldn't help but ask when we talked to James if we were ever going to see Chad again.
I would love to see that. I think that's still the most fun I've ever had on our show, and I've had a lot of fun, so you wouldn't have to twist my arm.
We love Chad.
Yeah, I mean, we've referenced him enough times that you'd think we could bring him back once, right?
One of the other great episodes was called American Duos, and it was pretty much about American Idol. This one had two great guest stars. It had Tim Curry and Gina Gershon.
It was amazing. It was the second season premiere and one of the funniest episodes. Tim Curry with his robe on.
Oh my god.
Like, that was unreal and so funny. I gotta say, I love the episode, This Episode Sucks. It was their vampire episode. They had Christy Swanson, OG Buffy the Vampire Slayer in it, and Corey Feldman. Yeah. It was hilarious.
And what they did with Christy Swanson's character was made a character that gets to recur.
Oh yeah, it's unreal. And you know what? I mean, come on, there's so many great episodes. There's the episode where Sean was talking to the cat.
Oh, that was great.
And the cat was giving him, like, psychic messages. There was...
Psychic messages.
Exactly. There was the episode where, like, they found a T-Rex, and, like, Sean decided that the T-Rex had committed the crime.
There was the mummy. There was the werewolf.
Exactly. Yeah, they do all kinds of monster stuff. What about Black and Tan, when they decided to go undercover as male models, and they were hand models? Now, one of the big question marks about this season is what happens to Henry Spencer. There was a big cliffhanger at the end of the last season where he was shot, and so we don't know. It's like a big JR moment, anime. Is he going to live? Is he going to die? Who are we going to ask?
Well, we're going to ask Corbin Bernsen himself.
I'm either clearly dead, in which case it could be a ghost. I am a deranged kind of flashback, right? Because all those flashbacks are kind of weird. Or I'm a dream. Or I am indeed alive.
So, I guess maybe he's going to live, or maybe he's going to die, or maybe something else in between. I don't know.
I really hope he lives, anime. I mean, Henry is such a great character, and it would be a real kind of bummer on the show where kind of the whole fun of it is everyone sort of lives, even though sometimes they probably shouldn't.
And it would be really weird if Sean couldn't go to his dad for help.
Exactly. And to give him a hard time.
So one of the other awesome things about this show is the dynamic between the members of the cast.
So true, anime. Sean and Gus' relationship is amazing, and so it's like, hey, how does James Roday and Dulé Hill have such great chemistry? Well, James is going to tell you.
We got drunk and made out once in season 3. Since then, it's been really weird. Really weird. But we still bring it when the cameras are on. I don't think, unless I just told you that, I don't think any of you could have guessed that happened to us. No, Dulé's good people. We hit it off from the very beginning. I think that was a huge part of why the chemistry is what it is and why we've been able to sustain it. He's the same guy that he was when we started, and I think we both are eminently aware of how lucky we are to still be doing this. So.
Now, the whole reason we're doing this show this week is that we love Psych, okay? We've loved it for years. The 7th season is starting. The 8th season is already confirmed, but people are a little scared that maybe the 8th season is going to be a short season, and maybe that's going to be it because Maggie Lawson, who plays Juliet, she's already signed on to be on a pilot.
Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the show is ending, but I think that people feel like if her character isn't there, does that mean that the show can't go on?
And I say no to that. I say Psych should go on for freaking ever because 8 seasons is not enough. It should be at least 10 seasons, anime.
Yeah. And I say, this is your chance. You should already be sending your pineapple-related things to NBC Universal and getting them to say, hey, Psych, keep going forever.
Exactly. This show is amazing. It's super funny. It's super great. It's got to stay on. Well, either way, guys, it's Wednesday if you're watching it, and you got to go and watch Psych on tonight. It's starting. It's going to be so, so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this episode. If you want to see our interviews from Psych from last year's Comic-Con, they're right here. And if you want to listen to our radio show, it's on every week on Indie 100 and The Point.
Plus, if you want to get in touch with us, you can send us an email to geekworldradio@yahoo.com and check out our website, geekworldradio.com. Hey Dave.
Yeah, Anime.
You hear about Pluto? That's messed up.
Bye!
Well, now it's time to meet with an update. It's safe to say we'll have some fun today on Geek World Radio.